New day, new adventure. Today we're gonna pick up where we left off last time, planting all of our new plants, trees, shrubs, and whatnot. I'm gonna move on to the strawberries and the grapes. So we're gonna bring you along for that. Let's go down to the shed and get our supplies. And you'll probably be able to hear a sweet old four-wheel drive with a Detroit diesel in it back there, rocking the land, let's just put it that way. So it'll be our ambient music for the background. Well, here is where the strawberries are going to be. Now, this whole bed isn't going to be for strawberries. We'll see how far the strawberries take us. But this we tilled up last year. You can see there's some grass coming back there. So that's why I got the Mr. Tiller out here. This is just our little tiller. He's like a prep tiller. He don't dig very deep. Although, fun story, I used this tiller to do our whole last garden all the time, and only ever tilled it once with a big tiller in a tractor. So this little tiller has seen some hours, let's just put it that way. And then if you look here closely, you can see our garlic coming up. And so we're pretty excited about the garlic. That is looking really good. This is the stuff we planted last fall. If you missed that video, be sure to check that one out. So, you know, for the most part, I think I'm gonna leave the straw down on most of this bed, but I brought a little rake along so I can clean up the straw that's gotten away from us, and then I'll put that on top of our potato beds. And then what I leave around here, we're going to cover with a little netting, and that's just to keep the deer and the birds out and that kind of stuff. So we're also gonna use the netting for the strawberries. So I figured I do a whole row of it, one shot and done, keep the deer and the birds out. Now I won't have to worry about the birds for a while with the strawberries, but the main thing is the deer. And since they're not inside the main garden gate, that's nice and tall and probably gonna keep the deer out, this is gonna be the next best option that we have. So let's get started on that. All right, so I got the whole bed raked out, got a lot of the grass roots and that kind of stuff out of there from the grass that was starting to grow back. So here is our strawberries. And as you can see here, we got 4 different varieties. These are our Cabot, it's called. Now this is a June bearing. I think we got all June bearing. And you can see, you know, there's growth happening there, so everything's looking good. Then here we have Sparkle. This is also a June bearing. And here we have Honey-O, also a June bearing. And last but not least, Wendy, which is also a June bearing strawberry. So the reason why we've got June bearing strawberries is here in Minnesota, you know, an ever bearing strawberry sometimes will produce twice a year. and then you'll get that later one. And what happens is we get like black bugs and that kind of stuff here late in summer, and they just decimate our strawberry crop. So the earlier you can get a crop, the better. So a June bearing strawberry just tends to do, or at least I've had better luck with it, my dad has too, in Minnesota and in these colder climates that we have here. Minnesota's kind of unique because we just get kind of extremes of everything. But here you can see the instructions on how to plant. Basically, you want it just right. You don't want it too shallow. You don't want it too deep. And then you've got your spacings here. So we're going to follow these instructions, and we're going to organize these out by different kinds as we plant them along. And let's go get planting. It says to start with rows about 36 inches or 3 feet apart. So I think I'm just going to do a single row here because I've got about a 30-inch, 36-inch wide bed. Well, actually, it should be about 40 inches, or yeah, it should be about 4 foot based upon my tiller. But that's only going to give me enough room for one row, I think. So I'm just going to do one roll down the middle, and then it says here, if you can see the roots, to cut them to about 4 to 6 inches before planting them. You heard it right. It says cut. Therefore, I am going to cut. I'm going to feel nervous about it, but that's what I'm going to do. So, and then we're going to space each plant about 18 inches apart. You can go 18 to 24, but since I'm only doing one row, I think I'm just going to do the 18. All right, here we go. There's one with the crown just above the soil. Looks like I'm gonna be here a while. Okay, so slight change of plans. I wouldn't have enough bed to do 25 plants in a row 4 different times. So here's what I ended up doing. I stuck with the 18-inch spacing, 18 to 24-inch spacing, and I just did it as a bed covering the entire row. So here you can kind of see one there, one there, one there, one there, one there, one there. So it's kind of like a diamond pattern all the way down here. And I got 25 plants in that package, just as I ordered. Every single plant was alive, so far so good. Thank you, Jung. Running out of daylight, but I'm almost done. I'm just gonna lay down some of this leftover mulch that I have, straw, and then we'll be ready to put the netting over top of it. So let's get going on that. Okay, so I didn't have enough to get all the way down to the end, but that's okay. This is just gonna help hold in a little of the moisture. So next step is going to be putting our rungs across the top of these posts so that we can hang our netting.